Here comes the news of the week. As mercury levels soars and heat waves grip India, beverages and dairy companies are seeing a surge in sales. The scorching weather is driving up demand for thirst-quenching beverages, curd, buttermilk and ice creams. This heat-induced sales boost is a significant trend for the industry. Stay tuned to excerpts from the exclusive interview with Mr. Jayan Mehta, MD of Amul, and Mr. Manish Bandlesh, MD of Mother Dairy, brought to you by CNBC TV 18.
Joining me now to discuss this and more is Amul's Managing Director, Jayan Mehta. Mr. Mehta, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And India has been witnessing a heat wave across states, and there have also been unprecedented rains in some part of the country. How are you looking at this extreme weather as a company, and what has the rising temperatures meant for ice cream sales?
It's been a pretty good summer season, and of course a bumper season for all the products related to summer, be it ice creams or even our beverages, the buttermilk, lassi, curd and so on. So it's been good growth as what we had anticipated when we spoke in the beginning of the year. And the last 2-3 months have been very good, and we are looking at a very, very good growth through the entire season this year. Growth has been very good in the range of about actually more than 30%. There are a few markets who will be doing exceedingly well, starting with Uttar Pradesh, which is growing at the rate about 45-50%. East India has been doing very good for us. I'm talking about the ice cream numbers, more than 40%. Even South India is 35% plus, same as Maharashtra. So all major markets doing quite well, and that's why we've been growing as per what the expectations were and the plans that we had made in the beginning of the year.
Mr. Mehta, also the onset of summer also comes with its own set of challenges, such as rise in input cost, electricity or availability of food for cattle. Have you seen these input costs increase?
So far, so good. I think we have not had major issues related to any of the points you mentioned. The last year monsoon was pretty okay as far as Gujarat is concerned. And in Gujarat also, now we are growing at double digit as far as the procurement is concerned. And the total procurement of Amul continues to be in double digits, about 18% more than last year. So on the whole, milk procurement scenario is also very good. The commodity positions is also very good. And obviously, when we have to cater to this huge demand, there is enough and more of stocks available with us and also in the entire country. So it augurs well for both the farmers and the consumers.
On sale of dairy companies, I am now joined by Manish Bandlesh. He is Managing Director at Mother Dairy. Fruits, vegetables, ice cream, dairy, milk. Manish, there is just so much to discuss with you. But I'll congratulate you first of all on 50 years of Mother Dairy. How has the journey been?
I think it's very, very eventful for the last 50 years. All those colleagues of ours who have contributed to building this organization, I think they have done a damn good job, I would say. So we are really, having that 50th year is really helping us, take it forward.
Absolutely.
Even further.
Yeah. Manish, coming to the summer season then, and this promises to be a big one as compared to the previous one. So with the kind of numbers that you would have in hand now, what is the kind of percentage increase that you have seen in sales?
I think the summer has been really good for, I think, most of the industry. While in North, it has built up over April, but now we see a severe summer. And I think most of the categories that we deal with are showing very, very promising growths, upwards of 30-40% in many cases. So some of the markets like Bombay, I'm in Bombay, so I was reviewing with the team. They're growing at 50% plus in many categories.
Okay.
So it all depends on how you are able to service the market. The demand is definitely.
Manish, a kulfi does well, and then some artisanal new product also does well. So I'm assuming it must be really difficult to keep that balance in.
It is difficult, but at the same time, when we look at Mother Dairy products, I think they are the best. And we try to bring Indian flavors into the market as far as possible. So when we look at a kulfi that we produce, so we come out with a tila kulfi, with a stick. I think our team went around the city of Delhi, went to those thelas in the market, and actually brought samples, and we have tried to replicate that taste because people want to consume that taste. A Mother Dairy doesn't want to create a new flavor, at least on a traditional product like that. Similarly, when you look at our Mishti Doi, for example, it is exactly like what it is in the market.
The Indian Ice Cream Manufacturer Association is lobbying to reduce the GST rate to 5% by approaching the President, who forwarded their representation to the Finance Ministry. Ice cream sold through shops attracts 18% GST, but bundled with food in restaurant, it attracts 5%. The GST Council will consider any rate cut soon. They argue the average Indian consumes only 400 milliliters of ice cream annually, compared to 28.4 liters in New Zealand, 20.8 liters in the USA, and 18 liters in Australia. Ice cream, a dairy product, has a higher GST rate than other dairy items like milk 0%, paneer, curd, lassi, yogurt, and buttermilk 5%. Reducing GST would help the 40% of manufacturers in the unorganized sector by encouraging compliance and tax payment. The Indian ice cream market, worth 16,500 crores in 2021, is projected to reach 43,600 crores by 2027, growing at a CAGR of 17.69%. Over 20 lakh people are employed in the industry, with 1.25 lakh vendors relying on it for their livelihoods. The Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) recently released dietary guidelines warning about misleading information on packaged food. Health claims are designed to convince consumers that products are healthy, often inaccurately. For example, sugar-free foods preferred by diabetics or those watching their weight may contain fats, refined cereals, and hidden sugars, leading to high glycemic index and calories. Products labeled all natural might still contain added flavors and substances despite minimal processing. Organic food labels can be misleading. They should be free from artificial additives and pesticides to qualify as truly organic. Similarly, fruit juices with only 10% real fruit pulp may still claim to be made from real fruit, despite added sugars and additives. The guidelines emphasize reading food labels to make informed choices and minimizing high fat, sugar, salt, and ultra-processed foods. The World Health Organization may recommend reducing sugar intake to less than 5% of daily calories. Healthier diets and physical activity can prevent significant health issues such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease. FY25 is poised for accelerated double-digit growth for Dodla Dairy Limited, driven by increased domestic milk volumes, the launch of a new plant in Kenya, and a significant boost in cattle feed capacity. Today we have excerpts from an exclusive interview with Mr. Sunil Reddy, MD of Dodla Dairy, brought to you by ET Now. Stay tuned to hear his growth plans for Dodla.
Could you talk to us about the growth outlook for the company going forward? This double-digit growth, is that something that you would sustain and start seeing an improvement? And also in terms of the milk pricing trends, right? Where do we see that headed in 2025? What is the expectation?
The last year, 24, when we see good results in terms of top line growth and in terms of our bottom line, top line was predominantly driven by even the price increases that we had. So although the volume growth was a bit muted by in terms of growth, but the price increases that were effectuated because of the lack of milk or whatever reasons, those were the reasons that drove the growth. And therefore, later when the milk prices sort of stabilized, we were able to hold on to those pricing, and that is also what has driven our EBITDA growth. When we consider for the going forward for this year as concerned with Dodla, even if we have a little bit of muted in terms of top line growth with volume growth with milk in Dodla Dairy India operations, we have undertaken many steps in terms of our value-added product sales increase. We'll be doing a lot of that, and therefore we are sure that we'll maintain similar kind of growth trajectories and bottom line trajectories as we go forward. Additionally, we have added additional capacity in cattle feed, and we have also acquired another unit in Kenya, which has also come on stream. So we'll have benefit of those two also for the full year this year.
Could you just talk to us about the flush season that went by? What are the benefits that we're seeing and what is the expectation?
I think this year, mostly in the areas where we are operating, we are seeing a good amount of milk production. We have not seen significant drop also, as usually it should happen by April, May. It's sort of maintained well. So we are seeing no issues on milk availability. This year also we think there'll be plenty of milk available in the system. And as a company, we have taken a stance of going aggressively on procurement and rather erring on the side of instead of buying ghee or fat or powder, we will be net sellers this year for sure. And that is the reason why we will not face any issues on milk procurement per se. We will have ample.
Mr. Reddy, could you also talk to us just about in terms of the market share currently and where are you aiming at in terms of market share, whether the South market or other regions?
So, like we always keep looking to go forward, we will be looking for acquisitions, and we're looking at an expansion in Maharashtra also. But if something else comes, we might take that on and then hold back on certain greenfields and take on an acquisition if we come across. So that has been also growth strategy into going into newer areas. In the existing areas, we have actively started doing more of a brand creation exercises. We have sort of kept our we have upped our advertisement budget and we are advertising a little bit more. We are trying to get more reach, and we are hoping that with that we will see a little bit of market share increase also.
Many Americans view dairy as a vital to healthy diet but often miss the recommended intake. According to a survey by the International Food Information Council, supported by the International Dairy Foods Association and the National Milk Producers Federation, the survey highlights barrier to dairy consumption and suggests strategies to improve dairy intake. Key findings include lactose-free dairy. Nearly 64% of Americans have never consumed lactose-free milk, with higher non-consumption rates among Latino, Black and Asian/Pacific Islander communities. Affordability. About 30% cite affordability as a reason for milk consumption across all income levels. Barriers. Expiration concerns around 19% and passive avoidance 37% are significant barriers. Self-reported lactose sensitivities also play a role. And lastly, consumption trends. Cheese 90%, butter 85%, milk 75% and yogurt 60% are the most consumed dairy products. Taste and health benefits like bone health 90% are top purchase drivers. The report underscores the need for enhanced education and outreach to improve dairy nutrition, particularly in communities of color and among those with lactose sensitivity. In recent years, A2 beta-casein levels in New Zealand milk have increased rapidly, while A1 beta-casein levels have declined. Data from LIC indicate that by 2025, new dairy calves will produce milk with 84% A2 beta-casein and only 16% A1. This is a significant shift from the 1990s and when A2 levels were around 50%. This change is driven by selective breeding and industry policies, notably Fonterra's 2018 strategic partnership with the A2 Milk Company. Despite this, a formal A2 policy is lacking in New Zealand, even as global demand grows, particularly in Asia, where lactose intolerance often coincides with A1 beta-casein sensitivity. South Korea's Seoul dairy plans to be 100% A2 by 2030, highlighting the growing market. New Zealand could fully convert to A2 within 8 years, with an explicit policy ensuring it remains competitive in the evolving global dairy market. In Middle East also, the ruler of Sharjah inaugurated the first phase of Maliha Dairy Farm to establish a nucleus herd consisting of 5,000 cows carrying natural, non-genetically modified A2A2 genes over the next 5 years. Here comes the market watch. Milk availability is reducing in North India and the milk prices have started to move upward in the range of Rs 53 to Rs 55 per kg for buffalo milk. In Maharashtra, due to excess milk availability, the prices are hovering from Rs 27 to Rs 29 for farmers and Rs 30 to 32 for bulk suppliers for cow milk. There is not much of movement in stocks of SMP and butter. The price of SMP is ranging between Rs 225 to Rs 290 per kg across the country. Butter prices are also maintained within Rs 350 to Rs 380 per kg. At NCDFI also the commodity prices have gone down to Rs 239 for SMP and Rs 345 for butter in this week. The good news is that GDT price index has moved up by 3.3%, which is the highest upward trend in last 14 weeks. Milk fat is on the rise with AMF at Rs 607 per kg and butter at Rs 571 per kg. SMP has reached to a level of Rs 216 per kg while WMP at Rs 281 per kg. The largest jump was taken up by mozzarella cheese at Rs 384 per kg. Dairy exports from India in April remained sluggish at Rs 21 crores for powders, Rs 35 crores for cheese and Rs 178 crores for milk fat. The return of North Asia which China is buying is attributed to the rise in prices.